Hi, and welcome to this safety course brought to you by Reach for Resources. At Reach, we provide services to individuals with disabilities and mental illness. We assist with recreation, housing, independent living support, employment, coping skills, counseling, waiver case management, and more. Feel free to contact us if you want some information on our services. But back to the safety class. Today we'll be talking about fire, doorbell, carbon monoxide, and weather. So what situations might arise when you're living on your own and what you can do in those situations to stay safe. When it comes to fire safety, it's important to consider these 3 steps. Be prepared, stay calm, and wait outside. These steps can help to prevent fires and give you the tools to stay safe if a fire does occur. What are some examples of fire safety features? Well, when you're moving to an apartment, it's important to think ahead and be prepared in the event of a fire. You should take the time to learn about the fire safety features in your building and in your unit as well. Some things to consider when it comes to fire safety are the presence of fire extinguishers and smoke detectors. Sometimes there's fire extinguishers in your hallway or in other common areas that you would have access to. Smoke detectors should be in all areas up to code in your apartment, but good to double check for those and make sure you're changing the batteries in those. Other things to look for are emergency exits, stairs, building evacuation plans, and an emergency flashlight. So all apartments will have an emergency evacuation plan, and those are usually posted in the hallway or in your apartment as well. So it's good to just check in on those and know where you're supposed to go. If you are able to use the stairs, if there's an alarm, you're supposed to use the stairs when possible to exit the building. Just a safer way to exit. You can follow the emergency exit plan. As far as an emergency flashlight, if you have a cell phone, just make sure you have the flashlight app on there and you should be able to use that. A little bit on smoke detectors here. You might have guessed that smoke detectors play a big role in keeping us safe in the event of a fire. So smoke detectors can help us by making a very loud beeping noise to let us know that smoke is in the air or that a fire has started. And sometimes, especially at night, you might not see the fire, smell smoke, or wake up in time to get out to safety. So smoke detectors are there to wake us up to warn us of a fire. Sometimes smoke detectors go off when we're cooking or if the battery is running low. So it could be a false alarm, but it's important to check your surroundings before turning the alarm off. So make sure that you have your smoke detectors in every level of the apartment, especially in every bedroom. Test them monthly to make sure they're working. So there's a test button on them that should show you, and replace with brand new batteries at least once a year. Keep smoke alarms clear from dust. So just keep that in mind. I know that at my old house, my smoke detector used to always go off when I was baking certain things like bacon or pot pies or something like that. So I'd be prepared for the alarm to go off in those situations. But just like we talked about, don't just assume it's a false alarm. Make sure that you're checking the area for safety. Let's watch this video about fire extinguishers.
In this short video, we'll cover how to properly use a fire extinguisher using the PASS method. Now, it's important to note that if a fire does occur in your workplace, that you follow these 3 important steps. Step 1. Once you've seen the fire, first grab the closest fire extinguisher, ensuring it's the correct type and class appropriate to extinguish the fire, and always make sure to keep your back to an unobstructed exit. If you do not think that you can put out the fire safely, make sure to evacuate the building. Step 2. Once you have your fire extinguisher, stand 6 to 8 feet away from the fire. Step 3. Follow the PASS 4-step procedure. First is P for pull. Pulling the pin unlocks the operating lever and allows you to discharge the extinguisher. Next is A for aim. Make sure to aim the extinguisher nozzle or hose at the base of the fire. The first S is squeeze. Squeeze the lever. This discharges the extinguishing agent. Releasing the lever will stop the discharge. The second S is for sweep. While discharging the extinguisher, start moving towards the fire. Keep the extinguisher aimed at the base of the fire and sweep back and forth until the flames appear to be out. Once the fire has been extinguished, make sure to watch the fire area. If the fire reignites, repeat the process. Always remember that smoke generated from the fire can be harmful and even fatal. Never attempt to extinguish a fire unless it is safe to do so. Now to recap the PASS 4-step procedure. P is for pull the pin. A is for aim the nozzle. The first S is for squeeze the lever. And the second S is for sweep. At Grand River Occupational Health and Safety, we bring safety to life.
Another way to stay prepared is to keep a fire extinguisher on hand to stop minor fires before they spread. Whether your apartment came with a fire extinguisher or you bought one yourself, check to make sure it's up to date and working properly. Your fire extinguisher may need recharging, especially if it's been used. Let's review what we saw in the video. PASS, those are the steps for using a fire extinguisher. So what does the P stand for? Pull the pin. A stands for aim the nozzle. S stands for squeeze the trigger, and the other S stands for sweep the fire. It may be a good idea to post these directions near where you store your fire extinguisher and make sure that you store it in a place where it's easy to access. Follow the escape plan. In the event of a fire, it's really important to distance yourself from the building as quickly as you can. So get out of your building as fast as possible. If your door feels warm to the touch, don't try to open it. Call 911 and tell the dispatcher your apartment number and that you can't open your door or that your door is hot to the touch. Around the cracks of your door, you could put blankets or towels or rags, bedding or anything like that to try to keep the smoke out of your apartment. Then wait at a window and signal for help with a flashlight or by waving a white cloth. If your apartment door is cool to the touch, open it slowly and stay low as you check for fire and smoke in the hallway. If the hallway is safe, follow your prepared escape plan. Here's some steps for how to make your own fire escape plan, and you can find these online and print them and keep them on at your apartment or on site so that other people and your guests will have access to these and know what your plan is. So some of the things you can do are drawing a map of your home, putting all doors and windows on there. Visit each room and find 2 ways out. All doors and windows should open easily and you should be able to use them to get outside. And make sure your home has smoke alarms. Like we said, pushing the test button to make sure they're working. Pick a meeting place outside. That's important with your family and roommates so that you know everyone is safe and that you can meet in the same place. Make sure your house or building number can be seen from the street. Talk about your plan with everyone in your home and learn the emergency phone number for your fire department. Practice an at-home fire drill and make your own fire escape plan using this other grid provided. So here are some other tools that you can use that you can find online. Looks like the NFPA website, and to create your own fire escape plan. Next, we're going to talk about doorbell safety. So when you're living in your own apartment, you might have unexpected visitors come to the door. It can be hard to know what to do in the situation and who you should let in and who you shouldn't let in. So before you open the door, ask them who's there. For your safety, it's important to take a few precautions. Ask yourself who could be knocking. Check your calendar to see if you have an appointment for someone to come, like somebody to do work on your apartment, or staff or friends or family planning to come by. Look through the peephole or a window. A lot of apartments have peepholes, so you can check who's on the other side of the door and see if you recognize them. If you don't recognize them, don't open the door yet. You can ask who's there, so you can do that if you can verify. If you can't verify who it is, or if you're not sure who it is, just say who is there. If you don't recognize their voice or still not sure who it is, don't open the door. Ignore them if you're not sure. So if you think that maybe they have the wrong apartment, or you're just not sure, feeling uneasy about the situation, you can just ignore it till the person leaves. Don't worry about accidentally ignoring your friend or neighbor. If it's someone, oops, sorry. Okay. If it's someone you know that needs to get in touch with you, they'll give you a call. They have other ways of getting in touch with you. If they don't stop knocking, or if you feel unsafe, you can call the police. Just let them know that somebody's at your door and won't leave and you don't know who they are. Don't answer the door until the police arrive. Just keep them outside. It's the best way to stay safe. Even if they're trying to tell you that something is urgent, if you don't think it's right, you know, call and verify stories and call the police for help. You can let them know that you did contact the police and that they're on their way, and hopefully they'll leave you alone. So here's an expert tip from a police captain. And this person says, if there's someone at the door and you don't know who it is, or you don't want to talk to them, just don't answer the door. It's a good idea to say something like, I'm not interested, thank you, through the door, so they know someone is home. Then if they don't leave, call the police immediately. So sometimes I do that if it looks like somebody's walking around selling something. I'll just say, no, thank you, and just let them know that I'm not interested and they can move along. Another tip could be that don't share that you're home alone on social media, or more important, that you'll be out of town. So if you're going out of town, it's a good idea to wait until you returned to home to post your pictures from being out of town, because if somebody knows your home is unattended, they may take that as an opportunity. So just protect yourself and don't share that you're going to be home alone or that you're not going to be home. And if your door has a security chain, definitely use that. That's a cheap thing to install as well, and it prevents the person outside from being able to push in the door. All right, so here's a scenario for us. Quinn is home alone, and when a woman bangs on the door and screams that there has been an accident outside, she screams to Quinn to open the door so she can call 911. What should Quinn's instincts tell her to do? There's kind of a lot going on here, so it seems like somebody really needs help, but sometimes people can use these emergency situations to try to take advantage of someone. So let's think about it for a moment. What would you do? Well, one answer here is that this situation could be unsafe. I mean, we don't know for sure. It could be fine, it could be unsafe. So we're not sure, so don't answer the door, but you can definitely call 911 for that person while keeping the door shut. So you can offer to say, thanks for letting me know, I'm calling 911 right now, I'll let them know. And then just leave it at that and keep the door locked. The next hazard we're going to talk about now is carbon monoxide safety. And carbon monoxide is a gas that has no smell, no taste, and no color. It's produced by fuel burning appliances in your home, and when appliances are in good working condition, they produce safe amounts of gas. But you can see that these are the things that produce some carbon monoxide. However, if something goes wrong with your appliance, then the levels of carbon monoxide that can be emitted can be unsafe and can cause you to become ill or worse. So some of the things that could cause that would be a room heater or a furnace, which we are very familiar with here in Minnesota. A charcoal grill, a range. So if you have a gas stove, a water heater, your car if you're heating it up in a closed garage, a fireplace, or any gasoline engine such as a generator. Carbon monoxide can really become dangerous if there's too much of it in an unventilated area. So if an appliance breaks down or gets old or malfunctions, it could produce too much carbon monoxide. So it's important to keep carbon monoxide detectors in your home to let you know if there's an unsafe amount of carbon monoxide in the air. You can buy them at most home improvement stores, Walmart, Target, or Amazon. Keep a carbon monoxide detector on every level of your home and also near every sleeping area. So in bedrooms and on every level of the home. Keep a carbon monoxide detector near your attached garage as well. Even though we can't see carbon monoxide, there are some warning signs that you might have if you've had exposure to the gas. So the initial symptoms of carbon monoxide are similar to the flu, but no fever. So you might have dizziness, fatigue, headache, nausea, or irregular breathing. So if you have any of these symptoms and you feel better when you go outside of your home, you might have some exposure to carbon monoxide. So stay safe and stay outside and call 911 and they'll come check on that for you. Also, if your carbon monoxide alarm goes off and beeps, so there's a difference between loud beeping and chirping. So chirping is something that happens when there's irregular beeps, like beep, and then 2 minutes later, beep. And that usually means that you need to replace your battery. And so carbon monoxide detectors are another thing that you have to change the batteries every year, just like your fire alarms. And so if your carbon monoxide alarm is going off, you need to leave your home immediately and call 911. The fire department will be the one to come check on that. They'll do some testing. They can try to figure out where the exposure was and what's going on with that. All right. Finally, we're talking about weather safety. So when you're living on your own, you should be aware of any inclement weather and how to stay safe in your home. Since we're here in Minnesota, we're focusing on tornadoes, severe thunderstorms, and blizzards. Preparing for a tornado or a severe thunderstorm. Well, first thing is to be aware of signs that a tornado or a storm might be coming. So a dark or greenish sky may mean that there's a developing tornado. Other signs will include a wall cloud, large hail, a cloud of debris, and a funnel shape in the sky. Sometimes at night, it's really difficult to see these signs. So make sure to listen to your local weather reports for updates and emergency information and watches and warnings in your area. If you have a cell phone, you can set up those alerts so that you'll be notified if there's any alerts in your area. If that does happen, stay indoors and take shelter. There is a difference between a watch and a warning. So with a watch, weather conditions show that the conditions are possible to create a severe thunderstorm or a tornado. So stay inside and watch the weather. Make sure you have your emergency supplies and that your phone is charged. A warning is telling you that a tornado or a severe thunderstorm has already developed. So take shelter inside, continue listening to the weather and radio for updates. We're going to talk about taking shelter now. So let's see, some ideas for the safest rooms that you have for taking shelter are in bathrooms, hallways, closets, or under stairs. You really want to be somewhere that doesn't have any windows if possible. Apartment dwellers should have a plan. So if you live on an upper floor, if your complex doesn't have a reinforced shelter, make arrangements to get to an apartment on the lowest floor possible. So your specific apartment should let you know kind of what the severe weather plan is and where you should go and where the safe place is to go. And just follow the instructions that they give you. So if you're in a home, you really want to be at the lowest level you can, not by windows. So again, this is talking about getting as low as possible, taking shelter in a basement or a cellar if you have one. Put as many barriers between you and the outside as you can and stay away from windows. If you can't get underground or have a reinforced shelter, get inside, as far inside the building as possible, away from doors, windows, outside walls, in as small of a room as possible. So a lot of times I know when I've had drills in large buildings, they'll say even the hallway is a good place. It's away from all the windows. So even the hallway or stairway of your lowest level of your apartment is probably a safe place to go. Here is a list of supplies that you could have in a bag ready to go to prepare for a storm. So it's a good idea to pack an emergency backpack that you could grab in case of severe weather that's already packed. So some things you could put in there, some sturdy shoes to help prevent your feet from getting injured and from sharp things on the ground, a sweatshirt or a jacket to keep you warm. Definitely some bottled water is a great idea. Putting some snacks in there. If you have like something that would make you feel comfortable, like a teddy or something like that is a good idea. Putting a radio in there if you can to help you stay up to date on the storm would be a great idea. They actually sell weather radios that all you do is turn it on for weather updates. Some type of helmet could be helpful to prevent things from hitting your head in the storm. And if you need help, you can blow a whistle so people could find you. So a whistle is not a bad idea. A flashlight could give you light if the power goes out. Some first aid or band-aids is a good idea. A cell phone, definitely, I would want to have that. And packing extra batteries and a phone charger, even an external battery if you have one for your phone, would be a great idea as well. Well, that's all I have for you today on fire safety, doorbell safety, carbon monoxide, and weather. I hope you're a little better prepared to handle these emergency situations and that you learned something. Thanks for joining us today. We'll talk to you soon.